All right, we're back to drills. Drill points. All right. One of the main points about a drill point is the included angle.
Might as well cut the video so Christian can't watch it.
We'll just put a bunch of wrong stuff. All right, the included angle. The included angle is this angle right here. And that angle is, I heard it before, 118. And you know what's interesting about that, I find, is that if you take, and I probably shouldn't even attempt this, 2 AN hardware nuts, and I shouldn't have attempted it, and you put them together, oh no, I'm not going to do it.
Gonna put this gauge.
This right here is 118 degrees. So if you're out in the field, in the middle of nowhere, and you need a drill, you don't have a new one, and you have to sharpen one, and you learn how to sharpen one, but you don't have a drill gauge to make the right angle, take 2 nuts, put them together, and that will be your right angle. And if that situation ever happens, please call and let me know, because that would be hilarious.
And then you can tell the story of class.
Included angles. So general purpose. General purpose. Drills. So the general purpose drill is 118 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. All right, I'm glad somebody laughed.
Oh, it isn't.
All right, high strength. So high strength. High strength. Okay, let me preface this. So for general purpose drilling, you want an angle of 118 degrees. If you are drilling into high strength steel, carbon steel, something like that, that is very strong, you want a flatter angle. So high strength steel is flatter at about 140 degrees. Could be 130. It's going to be depending on what you read. So that's why I said about 140. And the reason now, I don't want you just to remember numbers. Like, how am I ever going to remember this? Well, there's a reason behind it. So if we look at the reason, it becomes easy to think about. So this allows more of the drill, to make contact, especially when starting. The hole. All right. So what is flatter? And I think I purposely chose the word flatter. So this would be more pointy. This would be more flatter. So more pointy. So 40 is more pointy or less pointy?
More pointy.
More point. No. Less pointy.
You said 40, not 140.
140. I'm sorry. I meant to say 140.
Because
that reminds me. Everybody say congratulations to Shrey, because she is a U.S. citizen.
Congratulations.
Are you?
As of today.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Okay.
I'm not.
Now back to something less important. Now I got to follow that.
You're on YouTube, Pastor.
All right, drills for softer material. Drills for softer material have more of a point. Why do you suppose that is? Say 90 degrees. So if I'm drilling in high carbon steel, something that is very strong, I want a flatter point of 140 degrees so that what happens? More contact area, especially when starting, because when I'm starting and I have a flat piece, not a lot of the drill is going to touch. As it gets going, it's going to conform to the hole size, and you're going to get more, and it's going to conform to it. But let's go the other extreme. What is something soft that I would be drilling into?
Wood.
Plexiglass.
Let's go plexiglass. Let's go plexiglass on our extreme. All right. So if you look at a second year, they're working plexiglass right now. And if you watch them drill their plexiglass, they should be using plexiglass drill bits. And the plexiglass drill bit is easy to identify because it has a pretty severe point. Why does it have a severe point on it?
You're gonna fill them.
Well, it's the opposite. So that
Less contact area.
less contact area. What you do not want to happen with plexiglass is you don't want the drill cutting lips to actually grab in and drill and pull their way through. Because what it does is it accelerates the drill bit going through the plexiglass. It actually kind of take away off on you and go down, and it blows the backside of the plexiglass out. And then you have a whole, well, then you just ruin the windshield. So that's bad. So not only are plexiglass drill bits have this much more of an angle, I'll just exaggerate, but they also have, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but they have what's called a zero rake angle. And a zero rake angle, and I'm telling you that because this really helps define a rake angle. A rake angle is the angle between where the backside of this flute comes up and where this cutting surface is right here. We'll get to that. So it's this angle back here, and quite literally, what you do is you just grind off this very sharp edge back here, which is sort of the heel. Just flatten it out. And so it doesn't cut plexiglass, it scrapes it away. So that's how I know what a rake angle is. All right, so let me see what we got. And we'll write this right here. So allows less cutting, allows less of cutting lips to make contact. All right, so what are the cutting lips then? Well, that's the cutting edge. This one, all right, drill point has 4 main features. We talked about the point angle. Oops, forgetting the cutting lips. We'll do the lip relief. There we go. General purpose, 118. They get into some stuff here about the chamfer right here, this little edge right there. So it's reduced burr, different types of drill bits, helical point. So 90 degrees, soft and ductile material, 118 back to what kind of material? General purpose, and high-speed alloys is 140, flatter to allow more contact. Cutting lips, what we're talking about here, that's just this part here that's going to go and actually do the work. So cutting edges that extend from the center of the drill to the outer diameter. Cutting edge should form a straight line, well, straight line on either side. Cutting edge. What's cutting lips? Cutting edge. Well, that's all I got to say about that, because that's what they do. When you are actually sharpening a drill bit by hand, which you will get the wonderful opportunity to do, the relief angle is a big deal. And what it is, so here's the cutting lip right here, right, facing you guys, and the other one's facing me over here because it's going to twist around. And so the actual relief angle, I don't think I can explain this. The material after the cutting lip has to fall away very fast. If you had a cutting lip and then the drill went that way, what would be touching first?
That way.
The that way part.
Yeah.
So you actually have to have it reliefed out. So that's called the relief angle right there. So it's the amount of material that has been removed behind the cutting lip to allow the cutting lip to do its job. Now it's sort of an important thing because if you have let's say, an angle that is flat, then the entire area is going to hit at one point. It's going to heat up. If you go to the other extreme and you have your relief angles way down here like that, then there's really not much material behind the cutting lip. The cutting lip's going to chip and break away. So you have to have it sharp enough that it doesn't hit and heat up, and not too sharp that it makes a soft, breakable cutting lip. There we go. We've got a lot to say about that one. The section of the land that is ground down I could say behind the lip, behind the lip, cutting lip, that leaves the lip higher. And I'll let you write that, and then I'm going to scroll over a little bit. Got it? Moving over? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's panicking. All right, we did good. All right, so what about it? So one, without the relief, the entire land would rub on the work and overheat the drill. Makes sense to me. Let me see, did I say too much? Yeah, okay. So one of the biggest problems that people have when you are actually sharpening your drill bit by hand, and I'll give you each and every one of you a little demo. I'll take you over to the grinding machine. I'll show you how to hold it. But what's going to happen is you're going to grind your drill bit, and you're going to bring it up to me a little bit and go, well, how's that look? And I'm going to say, oh. A lot of times what I'll notice, and I'll call it an inverted lip relief angle, when it is like this. On my side, it's like that. On your side, it would be like that, indicating that the heel is going to actually make contact first, and the cutting lip is going to be way below the heel. And how well is that going to work?
Negatively.
It's going to work really well if your goal was to burn a hole through.
Or
It ranges from about 8 degrees to 24 degrees. And that's in Celsius this time. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just reading it from pages out of a coloring book right here. All right, a higher angle does what? Corners will, let's say corners of the lip. Corners of the lip. So if I have too high of an angle, so I got the drill bit, I'm going to go in the right way, so there's cutting lip, too high of an angle. Way too much relief cut back here. What's going to happen to my cutting lip?
chip.
Okay, cutting lips and chip. Higher angle and corners of the lip will break. And if I have too low of an angle, lower angle requires more pressure. And cause heat. And I think I made up this word, but an inverted angle just means heat with no cutting. That's not a good thing. That is the literally fangled drawing that I see often, which almost makes no sense, but you're just going to have to trust me on that one. Chisel edge, I think we talked about this one already. Chisel edge does not cut. It penetrates, displacing the workplace material. Chisel edge consumes 60 to 70% of the thrust required. So as your chisel edge gets thicker, you're going to have to push harder, and that's why. But I want to talk about for chisel edge angle. And I think this one was one of those really confusing ones with a lot of different books having weird pictures and stuff. So I just distilled it down to this, the angle. Between the chisel edge and the cutting lip as viewed from the end of the drill. From the end of the drill. Okay. The drive end, the opposite of the drive end, the business end.
The
This
pointy
end.
end. Throw it out and make him remember it.
I don't think so.
He signed a waiver.
That's kind of a silly, I don't know. I don't even know how to adjust that angle really, but it's the angle between this line here and this right here. So that seems to be kind of something that's sort of set, if you ask me. Okay, I think I'm going to do this one a little bit. All right, got some vidges.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, let's see if I can get sound to work.
Vidges?
Everyone looks just ready to hit the light off.
Our arms are too short.
So if you do a lot of drilling in metal,
I mean, we can
quite often you'll reach a
move
point
back
where the
now.
drill will just go no further because it's gotten too dull. So here's a drill bit that's gotten too dull. It just doesn't have very much.
We've got problems.
Houston, we have a problem.
Well, first of all, I guess we should stop the recording. So I tried with that.